the most common is going to be skin medications. So I'll tell you a bit about myself. I'm rated 10% for acne, not on my face. Okay, I'm not. That was the case when I was like 16,
It's
but
all
not
over your
now.
feet, huh?
No, it's my back. It's
I'm
not your
just,
typical acne.
yeah, yeah.
It's not your typical acne. So I did have cream that would bleach my pillows and my sheets and my clothes, and that would qualify for the clothing allowance. Okay. Um, of note, let's say you're on medication. Just because I talked about acne, I know this is going to come up in a question. If you take Accutane, which is a pill, just because you have a skin condition doesn't
Mm,
automatically mean you're going to rate the clothing
right.
allowance. And the same thing happens for like ankylosis or an amputation. Just because you have that doesn't mean you're going to rate the clothing allowance. Now, it's probably a high probability, just to be real, but I want to, it's not an end all be all, one size fits all. So, skin conditions is going to be the most common, especially if you're on cream medications that do bleach clothes. But it says here, and I want to read this so I don't mess it up. It says your skin medicine causes damage to your outer clothing, like your pants or shirts. That can't be repaired. Okay, that part's key. So just because you're taking some CVS, acne wipes, whatever, and it messes up your clothes, but you put them in the wash or you put some stain remover and it goes away, that's not the clothing allowance. Okay, we're talking about clothes that have been damaged permanently, like a big blotch. Bleach won't do it. Then you can go ahead and put in for the clothing allowance. And I feel like I had to say that up front because a lot of people say clothing allowance this and clothing allowance that, but it's important to understand what rates that. It's also important to understand what doesn't rate that benefit. So you can just say, hey, where do I fall in that? Okay. Or or you have acne for whatever reason you don't seek health care for it. This would be another argument outside of one, your health, you should seek health care for your health, period. Right. But if you aren't, seeking health care in this instance could open up an avenue for benefit, like the clothing allowance. Okay. But the skin's going to be the most common for that. I'll say one more thing, then I'll shut up. It could be a prosthetic, right? And again, just because you have a prosthetic or some sort of orthopedic device, if it doesn't damage your clothes permanently, that doesn't rate the clothing allowance. If it does damage your clothes, so I had a shocking thing on my wrist. I forgot what it's called. It was for like physical therapy on the go. Um, Sometimes it would heat up, and in one instance, it burned a hole through my shirt. Right. That's yes, you can sew it up, but that would rate the it being not repaired. Okay, I've
Right.
since gotten another machine because I'm not dealing with that, but it's not always an amputee. Okay, it could
Right.
also be some sort of orthopedic device,
Yeah.
um, maybe a huge brace, and you need bigger pairs of pants. That would be an example of being being awarded the clothing allowance. All right, Jason.
Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, I'm on track with you with the like a knee brace or something like that, that has the metal bars in them. You know what I mean? You
Exactly.
got that metal
Mhm.
bar in there, and you still want to wear your super skinny jeans, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's going to rip through, right? Eventually, it'll wear. I mean, I get a hole in my pocket from carrying my cell phone around, so I mean, it's you're gonna eventually it will wear. And that's why the clothing allowance is a one time a year payment. You're not getting, you're not going to get rich off of the clothing allowance. It's meant to replace the damaged clothes that may have taken a year to wear through, right? Um, it's just an additional benefit that we want to make sure people are aware of. You nailed the two things, prosthetic or orthopedic devices, or skin medications. And like you said, it's not this medication, it's the actual, cream medication, because you popping a pill is not going to affect your clothing.
Yeah.
One of the things that's interesting is uh, the question, and I'll pose it to you first, and we'll see what you have on it, and then we'll go from there. So, can I get more than one payment
For
for clothing?
clothing allowance. Okay, I'm gonna give you an answer. I don't know it's right though. I am pretty sure it's an annual one-time payment. Annual meaning once per year. Now, can you get that payment multiple years? Yes, absolutely, every year. Fact check me on that, Jason, because I feel like you
Okay.
have the answer.
So I'm going to just read it. So you may be able to get more than one payment if, and they don't mean like, subsequent years. They're talking about in the
Yep.
year. So you may be able to get more than one payment if you meet at least one of the requirements listed here. At least one of these must be true, and they have 3 bullet points. You have more than one prosthetic or orthopedic device. So, your bad knee and your bad elbow or whatever, right? Or you have a leg that's off at above the knee and you have your device there, and then you have some sort of weird elbow brace that's tearing your shirts and then you're tearing your pants, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 things. You have more than one skin medicine, and or your device or skin medicine affects more than one type of clothing. So you can go back to, okay, I have acne on my back and I have this cream and it's dissolving my shirts because it's like acid, and then I have a knee brace, for an example, that's tearing through my pants.
Okay.
So the answer is yes, you can. The clothing allowance form is 10-8678. 10-8678. And because, did you file for clothing allowance before, or did you just not because you didn't think it was that big of a deal?
I am in the category of you don't know what you don't know.
Nice.
Right.
So as far as filing your clothing allowance, you must file for your there's a specific time period. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like all these other things, right? The only other thing that of today's conversation that we could even equate this to would be the fiscal year for the 120 veterans who have one amputated limb for the housing grant. So this one, to get your yearly payment, you'll need to qualify by August 1st of that year, which means you need to file before that. We collect applications throughout the year and hold them until August 1st, closing date. If you qualify, you'll receive your payment between September 1st and October 31st. So if you're watching this video and it's before August, right? So July, if it's July or sooner and you feel like you could qualify, fill out that application and get it submitted prior to August 1st. Don't wait till the very last day. Do it at a minimum a week, as soon as you can, is really the bottom line. You can't rely on the VA doing like a same day turn. Things happen. And then woe is you if it's like, August 1st or August 2nd or whatever. And they're like, oh, sorry, we're going to hold on to this all the way until next year and then pay you out 2 months after that. So it can be somewhat substantial. Okay. Think about it. You're receiving this payment typically around October. The payment is $999 and change. It changes every year. It'll probably go up again. So then it'll be over $1,000, right? So it's a great benefit, and it's an often kind of, I kind of heard about it, and I don't really know. It's not really that big of a deal. I'm already 100%. Why poke the bear type of a thing? And it is absolutely a benefit that's there for us because the VA gets it, or maybe it's not even the VA, right? Maybe it's the lawmakers that got it, right?
Yeah.
But for however it happened, and now it's a benefit for us because there is damage happening to our clothing, and we shouldn't be held accountable to keep paying for that. Now, are you going to go out and buy a Versace suit? I mean, who knows, right? I mean, there's some of us out there that could maybe find one, right, and want to wear it. But whatever, you can pick up a few items, for $1,000, depending on what brand you're seeking, but you can take care of some stuff with $1,000 a year. So that, we'll kick it back to you for final thoughts. And I want to know, are you going to be putting in your application?
So I was on the cream personally. I had switched to Accutane, which is a pill.
Right.
It's a very strong medication. So that's a whole other conversation. Accutane is wild, I can tell you that. The cream's annoying. So no, I won't be, because I fall in the I can't
Right.
category. Now, could
Right.
I the past 3-4 years? Yep, I absolutely could have. Right? It's just something that
Well, and there you are,
yeah,
three
it's me.
thousand dollars short.
It's
Right.
me. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
My last thought on this, because I know this is going to, I can see myself falling in this category too. With these benefits, I know veterans are going to have that thought in their back of the mind saying, you know what, I'm not a double amputee. I still have both of my ankles. I still have my shoulder range of motion. I'm not going to worry about these benefits. And I get that. I understand that thought process, but it really gets back to what you had just said about these benefits are for you. Okay. If your range of motion on your shoulders is stuck here, and you can't get the cereal for breakfast in the morning, and then you have to call your spouse or your parent or your sibling to say, "Hey, it's breakfast time. Can you get the cereal for me?" That's a 20 years of that gets annoying, right? And so if not for yourself, do it for your family. That's really
Yeah.
these benefits are for you is pretty much the only thing I have to say about that. And the evidence piece of that. So, okay, these benefits are for you. Got it. Well, now what? Next step is go talk to your healthcare team. Be open about it, saying, "Hey, I can't reach the cereal. I can't get the bowl. I can't get a spoon. I can't drive my car because you have to have a hand like this. So I'm over here driving like this. That's not safe. Okay, not safe at all. So have that conversation with them, and if you do rate these benefits, take advantage of them. And if you don't, if you have that conversation, you built your evidence, you submit the package, and is denied, depending on what's actually going on, then you can decide, hey, do I want to fight for this benefit or do I understand their reasoning, right? But you don't know what you don't know. Don't be like me and all of the clothes. I still have clothes right now upstairs that have bleach on them. It's one of my favorite shirts. It's a John Party shirt that I got at a concert. I'm not throwing it away, but it's bleached, right? That shirt's not getting better. And I could have bought another John Party shirt with that clothing allowance, right? So
Probably
don't
even
be me.
signed.
Probably, right? You know what? That might be something. I might write him a letter and send him this video.
Yeah. Nice.
But don't be that guy. Okay. Don't be
Right.
me in that instance. That's really all I have to say is take advantage, build your evidence, and don't leave money on the table. Because it's what you're gonna leave it to the government, right? That's your plan. You're gonna leave money to the government. So it's just really my personal two
Yeah.
cents on that issue.
Agreed. And I'll give you my last final thoughts, and we'll wrap it up for you guys. I absolutely agree with you that look, these benefits are there. We didn't write them. We weren't the ones who made them possible. They are there for us. Do not ever feel guilty for applying for them or receiving them.
Yeah.
They are there. And the moment that we stop using them, you could bet they will disappear. So, in order to ensure that these benefits will survive for future generations, which a lot of us have our own children in the military and will be utilizing these benefits in one way or another later on, and to ensure that they're still there, we need to make sure that we're using them, right? So,